So the previous activities were things or activities you can use for pre, while, and after reading. I'm going to tell you about some other activities that you can use, and you can put them in the right stages according to the class you have. For example, one of the activities you can use is to have different paragraphs from the story. They are cut up and they have to rearrange it. Another activity you can use is having synonyms and antonyms search, and you can ask the students, I want you to find synonyms for these words, or I want you to find the antonyms for these words. So this will help them acquire more vocabulary. Like, for example, if we have the word bad in the story, so what is the opposite of this word, or what are the synonyms of this word, what are the antonyms, and this will help the students dig a little bit deeper. And of course, you do not have to do everything inside the class. You can simply ask them to do it as homework, you know, like a flipped classroom, which is going to be a topic we're going to mention later on in one of our courses. You can ask the students to do something at home, and then they come with it, and this will help you a lot of time to save a lot of time inside the class. You can also make a list, you know, like pros and cons, like what are the pros and cons of this decision that the character made. So you help them to, like, for example, there is a story you're reading and the main character in it needs to make a decision. So maybe you need to have pros and cons list to help this character and to give him advice. Also, you can have something like very simple to ask them to give headlines, or to give a title to a part to the story, or to give a certain subtitle to parts of the text. And also you can have something a little bit crazy, like to read and run, you know, like instead of just answering the question, for example, if it's a true or false question, you can have them in teams, and then you ask the question, and then a representative of every team, they would just run to the board and write true or false quickly, and the one who wins gets the point. And this, of course, is something would be for fun. Just make sure if they are writing a word, let them write it in a clear way, so that wouldn't, you know, and of course the correct spelling. So the clear writing and correct spelling while they are writing on the board, especially in a running competition. Of course, we're not neglecting the normal activities here, because remember something, not all students can function well in the running and having fun a lot, because if you're helping to some students to understand in their own way through drawing or through running, you know, like the kinesthetic learners or the visual learners, you also have the learners who like to sit quietly and think about something. So do not neglect the true or false, or fill in the gaps, or, you know, the traditional activities we can have inside the class. One more activity we have for you is to write letters or to write back. For example, if I'm going to be the snake, I'm going to write to the crow a letter, and then when the crow receives my letter, is going to write me back. This is, you know, like the love column, you know, I'm having a problem, I write it to you, and then you write back to me. So it would be just come and go, like a written conversation. So in this course, we talked about what are the difficulties your students might talk about, what are the principles behind teaching reading, what are the activities that we can use inside the class. And when we talked about the activities, we talked about what we do pre-reading or before reading, we talked about what happens while reading, and we talked about what happens after reading or the post-reading activities. And you also have the rest of the material attached. Remember to like our Facebook page and check the other courses that we have in our TEFLship website. Thank you so much for being with us in this course, and wait for the common skills.